Hello guys, in this video we're going to explain Kilowatt, how to get it, how to add your bike, go over the settings and get started to get you out riding on the road better than before. First thing you're going to do is download the app. The app is going to be available in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And for beta testers, you will need to download TestFlight or get a link from our Discord channel. Now, when you download the app, you will be introduced to this screen. You'll have a demo mode bike. That is where you can go in and play with some settings, see the settings and how it works before you add a bike. So to add a bike, you simply click Add up in the top right-hand corner, and then your bike will show up. Once you select your bike, you're going to name it anything you want. For now, we're just going to put Test Bike. You have the option to have the app auto startup in the setup mode or the dashboard, or if you want it just to come up to your bike selection, just make sure that's off. Once you add your bike, you'll have this screen here. It's going to show your bike. To add a bike, you have to make sure your bike is on. It is a ASI only app. Your Bluetooth is on and permissions is set. And also make sure you have no other Bluetooth app open or headphones connected, or else the app might not connect. First things first is go into the setup. You have a menu screen at the bottom that has all your different settings, modes, and functions of this app. So the first screen we have is controller. This screen is going to give you basic information about the controller, including firmware version, Bluetooth ID, your controller type. You can auto reset faults. So if you're riding and it throws a hall sensor fault, you can have it auto reset for you so you can keep on riding. I like to keep that off. That way, I can see what's going on with the bike, and if there is a major issue, at least the app will tell me. Access password. This actually shows the access password for the controller. If your dealer has it locked, like some dealers do, you can simply come in here, put that field to 0, and then hit save up in the right hand corner, and that will unlock the controller for you guys to put your own settings on the controller. Super cool feature. Diagnostics messages. This shows all of the controller problem messages. You can come in here and clear them if you like. You can do backups and restores all from this. My suggestion is come in here and do a backup for the controller when you first receive it. That way, if you need to go back, you can easily go back without any problems. So I'll just name this as OG. Save that, and then now you have a backup in there to either upload or download. Under the power tab, this is where you're going to set your voltage, your power profiles. These are preset profiles here for you guys, or you can set a custom profile here. So if you wanted 8,000 watts for eco and sport, you'll be able to do that. Regen, phase current, field weakening. This is all settings that you guys will be able to adjust with this app. If you wanted more torque, less torque, field weakening, no field weakening, and so on. The throttle tab is where you're going to go to calibrate your throttle. That's one of the first steps that I would do, is to make sure your throttle is working. Just simply click on the calibration wizard, and it's going to walk you through actually calibrating your throttle. I don't have a bike connected currently, but this is kind of the steps that it goes through to make sure your throttle's good. It's going to give you a 0 to 100. If it doesn't give you a 0 to 100, something's wrong with the connection. So make sure the harness is good, there's no brakes, and everything's connected properly. Once it's all calibrated, you're just going to say looks good, and then you have all your set voltages from low to high, as well as your deadband. Now, deadband is where you can have more play in the beginning. So if you'd like the throttle to come on a little bit later, you could do that here. Brake calibration wizard. This is where you're going to calibrate your thumb brakes or your brake levers if you have a harness that supports it. Just simply click calibrate wizard and go through that wizard to calibrate your brakes, and then select your brake mode. regen, cutoff, or none. You will have the option to do engine braking. Engine braking is basically when you come off the throttle, it's going to automatically apply regen for you and cut your throttle. This mode can be toggled in the dashboard screen for you guys, so it is an easy on-off setting if you'd like. It is a very good feature for us guys on the road doing higher speeds. Okay, the next tab is Drivetrain. This is where you're going to calibrate your motor, set everything up. This is where you're going to do a detection wizard. Basically what this will do is will detect where the pull wires are on the controller. It's going to give you a base characteristic tune of the motor and make sure everything's working properly. Temperature sensor, obviously you guys want that on. It's going to auto calibrate the position sensor for you guys depending on what motor that you have. This will work on KO motors, the QS motors, and other motors for you guys. And then you can come in here and you can change the rated speed, the RPM. I know most base Surron tunes are around 6,100 RPMs. Also under Drivetrain, you have torque curve tuning. This is where you can adjust the ramping time of your throttle and your brakes. So if you'd like a smooth start, you can adjust the ramping time. I think default is usually around 100 or 75 ms. Lower the go, the more torque and more get up you're gonna have once you crack that throttle open. The higher the number, it's gonna be a smooth, progressive, smoother ride for you guys. Same thing with brakes. Higher the number, the smoother the brakes will come on. The lower the number, it's going to be more aggressive, almost like you're locking the brakes up. You can adjust your gear ratio, your wheel diameter and gear ratio if your speedometer is off on the bike or on the app. My suggestion is go down the road, get a GPS app on, or just look at your speed limit road sign and just start adjusting this number until it's perfect on the app and the GPS. You can also adjust temperature limits, reduce power and power cutoff. This is the safety fallbacks for your motor. So if you guys are riding, you don't have to worry about overheating or checking temperature all the time. You can just set this and forget it, and the app and the controller will do everything else for you. Under more things, you have more advanced tuning. You can set all these set points. These are kind of like gears for your tune. So if you have a KO motor, you might use this to slowly ramp up the power. You can do power and speed limits in here. You can also adjust more advanced settings like current regulator bandwidth. You can adjust the PLL bandwidth and damping. These are all settings that I would consult a tuner or your dealer on before changing any of these. If you guys don't know what these settings are, just leave them alone. Under console, this is how the whole app is going to work with your bike. Some bikes come with egg riders, some bikes come with screens like APT screens. Some bikes don't have anything. My suggestion is find out what kind of harness you have. For instance, most of them are egg rider. So if your bike comes shipped with an egg rider, that is the harness or the option you're going to use. Now, if it comes with an egg rider and you buy a display, you cannot put the display in the egg rider port. You will fry the harness. If you do have it in one of these settings, egg rider, that's basically going to tell the app to use the egg rider for the settings and don't change the settings in the app. I like to use it on none. That way, when I turn the key, the bike is on my settings. I can just go on the road and I don't have to worry about coming to an app or turning on egg rider to get it going. Eco switch and sport switch. This is your switch setup. Switch state. You can actually program the app to your switch. So what that means is, say I want to do power limited by my switch, right? It's going to have me switch the eco and power switch. It's going to verify that that switch is now mapped correctly. And depending on the harness that you guys have, you will be able to map your factory switches out. I know Motoclops does it. GLE on the Gen 1 harnesses will do it. I'm sure there's a few others out there, but if you do have the factory switch and your harness is compatible, you'll be able to map those switches which is a very cool option that most dealers don't give you. You can also set up reverse switching. Again, some harnesses will allow you to put a reverse switch by just using one of the pull-up wires in the harness, and that will be mappable as well. So you'll be able to use your factory switch for like a reverse switch if you wanted to, or if you could do a second switch for a reverse switch on top of your mode switches if you'd like. Now, dyno is very, very cool, guys. This is where you're gonna go to get all the information about your controller, about your motor, about the power, RPMs, battery current, you name it. It's going to be in here on a graph. Now, these numbers in the dyno graph is logging while you're using the app. So as long as you have your app open and your ride is, I think, more than 10 minutes, it's going to automatically log your whole trip and put it on a separate timestamp for you guys, and I'll show you that a little bit further here. So under dyno, if you're manually going into it, you can select, say for instance, I want to know my battery sag versus battery current. So when I come in here, this is what it's going to look like when you're riding down the road. Now, you can use this while you're on the bike, so you can come in here and hit record and say, you know, I want to know what my current motor current is. So obviously it's going to look different while you're on the bike, but this is good for tuning. So if you guys want the most power out of your bike, and maybe you're limited to certain numbers, like from your battery, maybe it only produces 150 amps, 200 amps, you'll be able to come in here and see where everything is spiking and jumping to. That way you can adjust your settings and get them perfect. Now, if you're not using the dyno app, like I said, the app logs your trips for you. So once you're done a trip, you'll be able to come into rides. And let me go into the other demo controller here. So once you're done the trip, you'll be able to come into rides. Now, you don't have to have the bike on for this, but it will log all of your rides. So this is just a demo, so 12-minute ride here. It gives you your top speed, your energy, your peak power here. On this demo, it's 13 kilowatts, your max temps. And the coolest thing is you can come in here and pinch your fingers here, and you can see all the settings. So this is battery current versus motor current. This isn't accurate here, but you can come in here and you can see RPMs. You can see, you know, your peaks, your lows, your highs. You know, if your battery is producing enough power, you can actually view faults and stuff in here. It's a really cool feature of the app. Now, you can also export this. So if you hit export, you can then share it with whoever and your friends. You can email it. Let's see here, save to files, Kilowatt app, iPhone. Let's just save that here. Now, once you guys do save that on the iPhone, it's under files. So you're just gonna go to files, and let's see right here, Kilowatt. So you can then open this app or the spreadsheet up, and you can view all your stats, and if there's any faults, they're going to show up. So some faults aren't even recorded. They happen so fast that it doesn't even show up as a fault. But you'll be able to go in here and, you know, maybe there's a controller fault or over phase current fault. No matter what it is, you can come in here, you can figure out your tune, see where your highs and lows are, your temps and all that. That's a really cool feature. So when you're changing all these settings, guys, make sure you hit save up in the right hand corner there. It's a red button. It's always going to warn you, you know, if you want to save. If you guys do save, it's going to overwrite any settings on your current tune. That's why I said just do a backup first before you guys change anything. That way you can always revert back. Hope you guys like this quick tutorial. If you guys have any questions, please do hit up our Discord channel and make sure you ask there. Everybody is willing to help. This is a beta app that's been in development now for a while. So again, if you guys have any questions, just ask there and we'll be glad to answer and help you guys out. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys on the next ride.